Our speaker today is Don Baker, and the title of his talk is Be Here Now.
Thank you, Paul. It's a pleasure to be here. I was trying to decide what my talk would be on, and I looked at my bookshelf, and I happened to notice that on one shelf there were all these books with the title with the word power in them, and I thought, why do I have all these books with power? Because I've never really been concerned with power myself. I've never really desired power, but then of course, there were the power of kindness, the power of love, the art of power, the power of now. So they're kind of a different kind of power. So that's what my talk comes from today. I'm going to share some readings and some commentary. So that's why I titled my talk "Be Here Now," because mindfulness is a topic that's very close to my and Angie's hearts. So I want to share a few readings with you. My first will be from one of my favorite folks, my favorite Zen master, Thich Nhat Hanh. It's from The Art of Power. He's of course, you should all know him, but he's a Buddhist Zen master, poet, scholar, peace activist, and author of probably 100 books. He just passed away in this winter. So what most people call power, Buddhists call cravings. The 5 cravings are for wealth, fame, sex, fancy food, and lots of sleep. In Buddhism, we speak of the 5 true powers, 5 kinds of energy. The 5 powers are faith, diligence, mindfulness, concentration, and insight. The 5 powers are the foundation of real happiness. The first source of energy is faith. When you have the energy of faith in you, you are strong. In the gospel, Jesus said that people with faith could move mountains. But the word faith is better translated as confidence and trust, because it is about something inside you and not directed towards something external. Faith is having a path that leads you to freedom, liberation, and the transformation of afflictions. If you have seen the path, if you have a path to go on, you have power. If you have some experience that this path leads in a good direction, you will have faith in your path. You are very happy when you have a path, and thus you begin to have power. When you have faith, your eyes are bright and your steps are confident. This is power. You can generate this kind of power every moment of your daily life. It'll bring you a lot of happiness. If you use a method of practice and find it effective, if it brings you mindfulness, concentration, and joy, then faith and confidence are born from this. When you successfully practice mindful breathing, you feel light, solid, and confidence is born from this kind of experience. The second kind of power is diligence. You are capable of coming back to your best and highest self, but you must maintain this practice. If you practice sitting meditation every day, walking meditation every day, mindful breathing every day, mindful eating every day, your practice is nourished steadily, continuously, and this is the second source of power. And I think mindful eating, if you practice mindful eating, you'll probably be a lot healthier too. You'll take the time to appreciate your food, enjoy it, and you'll digest it better. True diligence can bring you a lot of joy, a lot of happiness to you and your loved ones. People with the energy of diligence are extraordinarily powerful. They can transform themselves, they can help transform the community, the environment, and the world. The third power is the power of mindfulness. Mindfulness is the energy of being aware of what is happening in the present moment. When we have the energy of mindfulness in us, we are fully present, we are fully alive, and we live deeply every moment of our daily life. Whether you are cooking or washing or cleaning or sitting or eating, it is time for you to generate the energy of mindfulness. And I always like to do the dishes, and Angie says, oh, I'll do the dishes. And I said, oh no, I like to do the dishes. It's a mindful experience. I do them in a Zen way and I'm one with the dishes. So I think we can be mindful in everything that we do. Walking and eating are actions we perform every day. But usually when we walk away, we're not really walking. We are being carted away by our projects and our worries. We are not free. When we walk with mindfulness, dwelling in the present moment, no longer pulled by our regrets about the past or our worries concerning the future, we touch the wonders of life, and each step nourishes our happiness. Mindfulness helps us see and be in touch with our loved ones. It is the energy that allows us to come back to ourselves, to be alive and truly happy. Mindfulness brings about the fourth power, the power of concentration. When you drink your tea, just drink your tea. Enjoy drinking your tea. Please don't drink your suffering, your despair, your projects. This is very important. Otherwise, you can't nourish yourself. Concentration can help us look deeply into the nature of reality and bring about the kind of insight that can liberate us from suffering. Through concentration on impermanence, we become aware that everything is constantly changing. We may die tomorrow or anytime because of an accident. We should do everything we can to make our loved ones happy today. Tomorrow may be too late. Concentration on the nature of impermanence, non-self, and interning can help us realize great breakthroughs that will bring us the fifth kind of power, insight. Insight, the fifth power, is a sword that painlessly cuts through all kinds of suffering, including fear, despair, anger, and discrimination. If you are using your powers of concentration, insight allows you to fully see what you are concentrating on. Concentration on impermanence and non-self leads to the insight of impermanence and non-self. When the Buddha spoke about impermanence, he was speaking of insight. He was not being pessimistic, but only reminding us that life is precious, that we have to treasure every moment of life. Insight comes from understanding. There may be elements of understanding in us already, but if we don't have the time to be mindful and concentrate, insight won't manifest in us. We need to create the kind of environment where mindfulness and concentration become easy. It's like preparing the soil so that the flower we plant can sprout. Insight is the kind of understanding you obtain after you have been mindful. It is because of ignorance that we suffer. When we begin to touch insight, we are deeply in touch with reality, and there's no longer any fear. There is compassion. There is acceptance. There is tolerance. That is why we talk about insight as a kind of superpower. If you take the time to look at reality using the insights of impermanence and non-self, you will have a breakthrough that will liberate you from your suffering and your difficulties. All of the first four powers lead to this fifth superpower. And with insight comes a tremendous source of happiness. All right, that was Thich Nhat Hanh. And now we will go to a reading from The Power of Kindness by Piero Ferrucci. Piero is a psychotherapist and philosopher and one of the world's most respected transpersonal psychologists. Mindfulness or attention has a magical aspect that gives vitality. I'm speaking of pure attention, without judgment or advice. To pay attention means that we are able to keep at bay the quarrelsome din that continually invades and tries to seduce the mind. In this way, attention becomes a moral quality like love and justice. We usually think of attention as a neutral process. Watch your head, be careful crossing the street. But even here is an implicit ethical dimension, because the failure of attention can endanger the lives of many people. Accidents at the workplace, taking the wrong medicine, people hit by cars because they did not look before crossing. Inattention may be disastrous. To pay attention means to be awake, thus to be aware of what is right in front of us. Indeed, the ecological tragedies with which our planet is struggling are a result of our inattention. We've not paid enough attention to what is all around us and to the consequences of what we are doing to it. The plastic bottle thrown in a field, recyclable rubbish merely dumped, or ugly concrete ruining our scenery are results of mindlessness. All we have to do is open our eyes. Attention is thus a form of kindness, and lack of attention is the greatest form of rudeness. Sometimes it is a form of violence, especially where children are concerned. Negligence is justifiably regarded as abuse when it reaches an unacceptable level, but in small doses, it is one of the most common childhood ignominies. Inattention is cold and hard. Attention is warm and caring. It makes our best possibilities flower. Being kind does not only bring us into contact with ourselves, it also focuses us on the well-being of others. We are all connected to one another. In the sky of Indra, the Hindu god, are an infinite number of glittering spheres, each reflecting all the others, and therefore the reflections of the spheres in one another. Like the glittering spheres, we all in some way contain everyone else. And if we look inside ourselves, we see that we do participate and react emotionally to what happens on our planet. Billions of people are suffering, hungry, victims of injustice. How can we coexist with such immense problems? The way we deal with them qualifies our lives. Being kind involves taking a stand. By itself, it might not help. Maybe our kindness will be ineffective. The money we send to alleviate hunger might be unwisely used. Nonetheless, we have affirmed a principle, a way of being. And I like to say that kindness is my religion, and it has been as long as I can remember. Just as important is to realize that microcosm is macrocosm. Each person is the whole world. As many mystics and visionaries have pointed out, each individual in some subtle and mysterious way embodies all people. If we can bring some relief to just one person's life, this is already a victory, a silent, humble response to the suffering and pain of the planet. This is the starting point. Then I'll share a brief excerpt from His Holiness the Dalai Lama. I have found that the greatest degree of inner tranquility comes from the development of love and compassion. The more we care for the happiness of others, the greater is our own sense of well-being. Cultivating a close, warm-hearted feeling for others automatically puts the mind at ease. It helps remove whatever fears or insecurities we may have and gives us strength to fight with any obstacles we encounter. It is the principal source of success in life. And now I'll move on to a reading from The Power of Love by James Van Praagh, best-selling author, spiritual teacher, and world-renowned medium. And James has to say, instead of being caught up in fear and anticipation, we can press the pause button on our reaction to life's disturbances and see them as opportunities to use the power of love. Life is not a destination, it's a journey. In a world where everyone is doing, we tend to miss the smaller and most significant parts of our learning experiences. We don't have to fast forward every moment of life. Living in the moment teaches us that there is a time and a place for everything. As spiritual seekers, our goal is to practice mindfulness every day, in every hour of the day, in every minute of every hour. It is easy to get caught up in social media, work, family, school, and chores, and forget to take a moment to breathe and to remind ourselves of who we really are. The mind, not the brain, is the soul. Spirit is constantly reminding us to stay present. Spending time thinking about what was or what will be only diminishes the potential we have right now. When we let go and exist in the present, we are able to bring the fullness of love to every thought and experience. The power of love unifies the worlds within worlds, those we see and those we don't. The love we share with one another is amplified and travels beyond the physical dimension into planes of existence far beyond our capacity to understand. When you love yourself and others, the energy of love is returned and magnified. Whether the soul is another human, an animal, or a loved one who has passed away into spirit, love never dies. It is an eternal, unbroken bond, the connecting force that is changeless, timeless, and joins us together forever. And as a wise English folk singer once said, and in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. And the next reading is from The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, an author, sage, and practical mystic. Your life's journey has an outer purpose and an inner purpose. The outer purpose is to arrive at your goal or destination, to accomplish what you set out to do, to achieve this or that, which of course implies future. But if your destination or the steps you're going to take in the future take up so much of your attention that they become more important to you than the steps you are taking now, then you completely miss the journey's inner purpose, which has nothing to do with where you are going or what you are doing, but everything to do with how. Your outer journey may contain a million steps. Your inner journey only has one step, the step you are taking right now. As you become more deeply aware of this one step, you realize that it already contains within itself all the other steps, as well as the destination. This one step then becomes transformed into an expression of perfection, an act of great beauty and quality. It will have taken you into being, and the light of being will shine through it. This is both the purpose and the fulfillment of your inner journey, the journey into yourself. When you become conscious of being, what is really happening is that being becomes conscious of itself. When being becomes conscious of itself, that's presence. Since being, consciousness, and life are synonymous, we could say that presence means consciousness becoming conscious of itself, or life attaining self-consciousness. But don't get attached to these words and don't make an effort to understand all this. There's nothing that you need to understand before you can become present. All right, and now we go from a book that doesn't have power in the title. But it is one of mine and Angie's favorite books. If you have not read it, I highly recommend it. It's called Into the Magic Shop, a neurosurgeon's quest to discover the mysteries of the brain and the secrets of the heart, by James R. Doty, MD. He's the director of the Center for Compassion and Altruism Research and Education, and a professor in the Department of Neurosurgery at Stanford University. And James has to say, mindfulness and visualization are wonderful techniques for getting quiet, eliminating distraction, and journeying inward. They can increase focus and help us make decisions more quickly. But without wisdom and insight, opening the heart, the techniques can result in self-absorption, narcissism, and isolation. Our journey isn't meant to be an inward journey alone, but an outward journey of connection as well. When we go inward and our heart is open, we will connect with the heart, and the heart will compel us to go outward and connect with others. Our journey is one of transcendence, not endless self-reflection. What research has shown is that the heart sends far more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. And while both the cognitive and emotional systems in the body are intelligent, there are far more neural connections that go from the heart to the brain than the other way around. We separate the mind as rational from the heart as relational, but ultimately the mind and heart are part of one unified intelligence. Our individual happiness and our collective well-being depend on the integration and collaboration of both our hearts and minds. All right, and we come to my last reading, which is again from Thich Nhat Hanh, and that's the Long Road Turns to Joy. And this is about a walking meditation. When we practice walking meditation, We arrive in each moment. Our true home is the present moment. When we enter the present moment deeply, our regrets and sorrows disappear, and we discover life with all its wonders. Breathing in, we say to ourselves, I have arrived. Breathing out, we say, I am home. When we do this, we overcome dispersion and dwell peacefully in the present moment, which is the only moment for us to be alive. And Angie and I take this to heart. We walk often along the Creeper Trail, especially down by El Laredo Station, a stretch I would highly recommend. We walk along the river and we do a walking meditation whenever we go there. And it's wonderful. We love to meditate by the river. But now if you're willing, I would like for all to join me in a brief meditation. There will be a chime at the beginning and another at the close of this meditation. Okay, close your eyes and focus on your breathing. With each inhalation, energize the space around your heart. Send out an intention of thought to the universe for healing. Say, I release all tension, strain, stress, and pain so that I can be healed. As you continue to breathe, listen to your heartbeat. With each beat, align yourself with present moment awareness. Yes. Thank you all. The only thing of importance in this present moment is the essence of your soul, which is love and joy. When your soul nature is balanced and harmonious with joy, you will be at peace and feel connected to all of life